On this episode, we talk about Shadow of the Erdtree, the next-gen consoles. John brings up Call of Duty, because why?
I know. Well, there's a new mode tomorrow, Michelle. Bit Party and a retro warfare event. What?
That's right. And we also find out what an Elden Ring gangbang is, or gang bomb bang review party. We'll get into all that and more.
5, 4, 3, 2, live! Michelle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 861 of the Video Game Outsiders podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle Madison.
And I, of course, am your John Jacobson.
And joining us tonight, we have our very own Elden Lord, Homeless Zombie from the Discord. He's a big Elden Ring guy. He's also been helping a lot of our listeners in the Discord with the game. So he's going to talk about Shadow of the Erdtree as well as what else he's doing tonight. What's up, Homeless?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
That's
now,
right.
did you call him Elden Lord? What
he's an Elden Lord. I mean, he's the guy to go to. He's helped a lot of people.
Is this a title? Like, is that you have a business card?
He does.
What?
Well, he has a BDE business card because he's a supporter in our Discord as well.
Right.
So, and he's been around. You've been a listener for like how many years now? At least 10, right?
Yeah, I think I'm coming up on 12 years now.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so he's been around. He's a longtime listener, which is awesome. So it's going to be fun.
And you're a luthier.
What's that?
That's very generous of you to put it that way. I keep fucking up expensive guitar parts is what I am. So.
That's right. You're sharing all the photos of your projects.
He's building a really cool silver burst Les Paul-y guitar.
He also bakes really good bread. You share photos of bread in our Discord all the time. You're like,
now, okay, all right, Randy. Now explain the whole sourdough thing. What is that process?
I would love to derail an episode of VGO while Michelle gets angry.
So sourdough, is that kind of your go-to thing? Or are you doing sourdough?
Yeah, I got into to sourdough. I think it was over COVID. I know a lot of people did that. It's kind of a cliche way to spend time back then. But I've always cooked. I've cooked for a long time, but I never got into baking because it seemed too on rails.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like a big mountain to try to climb during that time. And I got kind of obsessed with it to the point where
that's awesome.
With my eyes closed, I don't have to look anything up. I know a couple different ways that I prefer to do things at this point. I started a little side business for it, but then I didn't do anything with it, which is typical for me.
A bread business?
That's all right, though. You're always into something, which I like. And the Discord's a cool place to share pictures. So we do invite you guys to come on down to the Discord. Now, Crafty is giving away 3 copies of the game Inside because some people in Discord, Ted, got him to play the game on stream, and he loved it so much he wanted to give away 3 copies. So if you check out their free show, which is the community show on our Video Game Outsiders app, and I know, Homeless, you've been on a few times too, you listen to the episode, he says, I'm giving away Inside, come ask for it, and the first 3 people get a copy or something like that. So come to our Discord on videogameoutsiders.com, a good place to meet and chat with a lot of people, including the hosts, including Homeless Zombie here. We've got a good show. Like I said, we're live right now on videogameoutsiders.com. We do it every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. If you miss it, you can listen anywhere podcasts are or on that app, like I said, because there's free shows from the community, as well as bonus shows that we do during the week, John. We do PC Outsiders. We do Micro VGO. We just did a Cooking Outsiders. We've done Netflix Outsiders. We'll be doing a Warcraft Outsiders probably again at the end of the summer when that new expansion comes out. So we do all sorts of stuff on the app. And if they want to support us and get the 20-year back catalog, how do they do that, John?
That's right. Go to our website at videogameoutsiders.com. When you get there, there is a red premium button. Go ahead, click it, lick it, slam it, whatever you need to do. Just go to the next page and go premium. It's $1.99 a month. Once you're premium, you'll unlock our entire back catalog of almost 20 years and all the bonus stuff we do every single week, like Micro VGO, PC Outsiders, The John Show, Netflix Outsiders, whatever. It's all on the app. Go to videogameoutsiders.com and go premium. And then also get the app, which is totally free on iOS and Android. Just search for Video Game Outsiders. All right.
That's right.
So we have a lot of ground to cover.
We do. Shadow of the Erdtree. We may get into some of the debate here about is the game too hard or not. We're going to talk to a veteran of Elden Ring. Yeah, I've got thoughts as well. I know you do too,
Please call him
John.
Elden Lord.
Elden Lord, a homeless zombie, will be covering all of that. But first, let's kind of talk about what we've been doing outside of that. So I did play a game called Chained Together. It was sort of gaining popularity because it was like, oh, is this just a streamer game? Like groups of streamer friends were playing it. And then I started seeing some of my friends playing too. And I know, John, we talked about it. We should have gotten together and played because it would have been awesome. But so Chained Together, what it is
awesome.
it's a bit like Only Up. Okay, like you said, where you're just jumping up on things, third person platforming. But it takes on a whole new meaning because you are chained together with up to 3 friends. So 4 of you total. And you can be chained either in a straight like chain line gang or 4-way, like in a square almost. And you have to escape from hell. There's like a devil guy taunting you the whole time. And you have to do this together. And one person can screw everybody up, which is great for my groups of friends, that because like everybody's a troll, and that just made it fun. Like I was laughing so hard. Like I tried playing a little bit alone. It wasn't fun, but with your friends, even if it's just one person or your family, you have to check out Chained Together. Like it's like $4 or $5 and it just gets crazy. Like there's like 3 different levels, I think, and you can pick the difficulty where there's checkpoints, or you can always go to the highest point, which is what I wanted to do. And they're telling me I was a cheater and I needed to toughen up. And they wanted
you
to
can
play
skip to a
lava
higher
mode.
spot?
No, you can save from the highest point you've been at. And me being the little bitch I was after 3 hours of sitting there with my hands sweating, I wanted to go back to the highest point.
I'll say though, when I played Only Up, and I think it was Only Up 2, maybe. Is that the most recent?
Yeah, maybe.
Is there a couple of these games where you just...
I don't know, but like I said, I don't even put this in the same category because of the chain with your friends.
Yeah,
like,
no, I
that
understand.
Really changes it. You're one person's dangling, you're swinging. They can take, like, you have to pull people up from it. And I agree, though, it kind of ruined it. So we did play a lot of lava mode. So that's lava from the ground rises up and it chases you up. So if you fall, you die. Like, there's not even like starting at a lower point at all. So you have to keep redoing it over and over. And you start to get in a rhythm. You start to get better. You learn the patterns. You learn. But a lot of times there's, especially in my group, there's somebody that's just fucking it up on purpose. Now, Homeless, I know you play games with like your wife and kids sometimes. Is this something you would ever try?
Probably. It's kind of like pulling teeth to get everybody into one thing at one time. But even if it's not games that I love, I like finding something that will get them into it, because then it gives me an excuse to actually play games.
Yes, like that It Takes Two game is another good co-op game. That's just kind of, it's only 2 people. It's kind of a little similar, but you're doing more puzzles mixed with it. I know you're playing a lot of Grounded with your family. I've done that too. Like Grounded was a lot of fun. So this is a game that does get people together though, because it's very cheap. People have been asking them to put out a 4-pack with like a discount, because it's totally a game you go buy for $20 and you and your friends have an awesome weekend with it. So we put a couple of hours into it. I don't know if we'll finish it, but I really do recommend Chained Together. And I want to say it's not like just a streamer game. Like it's a fun game for you and a friend or multiple friends and family.
So we should clarify what it is, because the Only Up game, and I'm curious if this is any different, because the Only Up
Junk
game
in
looked
the sky and you're climbing
Yes,
up.
it looked like a guy went to some Unity website and downloaded every single model he could find and just stacked it together. And then it's like you're on a shipping container, then a garbage can, then a fence, then a ladder,
it makes no
then
sense,
a beam.
It's like you're in hell and you're being taunted, and then one level you're climbing up, then you're swimming, then another level looks like a subway city. He just found it's like Unreal Assets or something, right? But it works. It's fun. Like the way the chain just works with the dangling and swinging it all makes it hilarious.
So if one person falls off, does everyone go down with that person, or?
Oh, they can. Yeah. Especially if they start swinging in circles, or you can pull them up. But then, so the person, it depends on the type of chain you have too. If you're in a line, you're connected to only the person in front of you and behind you. If it's in a square, it's only it's weird. So you have to be careful. I kept wanting to be in the back because I felt like if I fell, they could pull me up. But most of the times I was getting impatient and I was like trying to charge ahead. And then, so it was just like a good time. So Cranky says he saw it and he thought it was a Mac game. No, this is not a Mac game. A Mac game is like, I don't know, a poem game or something like that, right? Like he likes the games with feels, as you say, John. You're not like all the reviews for this are like, I went in with 4 friends or 3 friends and left with 0. Like there's a lot of meme reviews on it because like maybe you and your friends will be fighting over it or something, but overall, like it's just a lot of fun. So it's cheap, it's fun. These are the perfect games that come out of nowhere. Didn't know it existed, didn't know it would be a hit, never heard of it. All of a sudden you have a fun new game that pops out of nowhere. That's a hilarious time for you and your friends. So that's what I like about Steam, just because I can't predict what I'm going to love next week. It's like, hey, this came out of nowhere. But I had like a weird impatient weekend of like not wanting to do much else other than that, because I watched, it probably feels like I watched 15 or 20 hours of my friend play Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree on Discord. We were all kind of watching him kill the bosses and fight, and it was so epic. I'm looking forward to hearing what Homeless thinks about it, but it was really just fun to watch. I like to watch a lot of single players, like games like that that, like, especially Souls-like games, because I'm impatient and I get frustrated. But I love watching them, like the boss design and learning like the patterns, even just like how badass it is and the story. So we may get into some light spoilers later when Homeless does bring up the DLC. So that's just an early warning. But I spent a lot of time watching it and I thought it was badass. So to see a lot of the mixed reviews coming in of people saying it's too difficult and, you know, I was whatever. I guess we'll talk about that later. But I did dabble in the Riven remake. It was a game I played as a kid. It was the
Did
sequel
you say
to
Riven?
Myst. Riven.
Oh, Riven. Yeah.
R-I-V-E-N.
Okay, tell me. Yeah, I saw that on Steam and I was so tempted. Tell me about it.
Well, so I had tried the demo before and it looked really pretty. Like they did a good job. They rebuilt it from the ground up. But when I was a kid and I played Myst and Riven, they didn't make much sense to me. I didn't have the patience for them. Now I think as an adult, I'm truly appreciating them more. So it's kind of a cool puzzle game and it looks really cool, but you kind of know what you're going to get, John. It's like there's no surprises.
Yeah.
It just looks better.
Okay, what you just said now makes complete sense to me because I'm looking at the screenshots. I'm like, I played this. That's right. I played the demo.
I think this one came out in 97 or something. Oh, yeah. Or you played the new demo. But this one is in VR or standard mode. I think it would probably be a lot better in VR. This is the thing, like maybe if you have a VR headset.
I did it in VR.
Okay.
I don't know. But go on.
Well, Myst, they also redid Myst and it looked badass too. So, yeah, I mean, it is Riven, but it's redone with good graphics and it supports VR. But I just I could only play like a little bit of it at a time. Like I was like, I don't know, you have to do a lot of exploring. You have to be patient. It was fun. It was cool, but I just wasn't in the mood. Like I wasn't feeling it this week after Chained Together and after watching 15 hours of Elden Ring.
Right.
So I tried another game called Gladiator Guild Manager, which I know you guys are going to give me shit for because it's like sort of an auto battler, but I found it kind of mildly addicting, but there's a lot of micromanaging going on. John, I know you looked at it. It was Steam Deck verified, but
I
a lot
bought
of menus.
It and then,
you did? Okay.
Well, it doesn't work with controller on Steam Deck, so.
Oh, well, wait, you've got a whole mouse and keyboard set up outside.
I didn't go through it, so
okay.
so I bought it tonight, and then I'm like, fuck it. All right,
so
tell me, do I need to play
it?
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of like mixed on it. I think it's okay. It got boring pretty fast. So you build your whole team up, you know, you arrange it on the battlefield and kind of hit go. It's an auto battler, but there's a lot. It almost feels like a mobile game, whereas I feel like there's other auto battlers which have challenged me more, sort of like backpack battles. It had a creative twist. So it's not that I hate auto battlers by any means, right? But there has to be some twist to them. And this one, I didn't find the twist of just managing and collecting gladiators. It was a little repetitive. So I'm kind of like mixed on it. I think it's cute, but it's not like one of my go-tos. But once again, just I couldn't find a game that I wanted to play.
But the twist on this, though, Michelle, is that it's trying to emulate what it's like to be like a guild boss, right?
Yeah, but you know, I keep going back to Gladius, which was a PS2 game I got really addicted to with my boyfriend at the time, and we played the shit out of that. And that actually was a Roman gladiator arena where you collected gladiators and you had these fights, turn-based fights in the ring, and that I've never played a gladiator game that stood up to that for me. So I have high hopes for gladiator games.
Gladius?
Do you remember Gladius at all?
I'm looking at the cover. I absolutely remember seeing it, but I never played it.
Yeah, I think it was PS. Jeez, what was
PS2.
it?
It's PS2.
It might have also been out for 360 or something. Cranky says
it's
he remembers Gladius. It was cool.
PS2, and Xbox.
It might have been Xbox. We played it somewhere when I was in college or something like that. We had such a fun weekend with this game. Like they had perfect voice lines and there was all this strategies. Like it's one of my favorite memories, even though I hate the fucking guy now 20 years ago. But no, it was a great game. So I have high hopes for Gladiator stuff. Gladiator is one of my favorite movies. This game just didn't bring the Gladiator for me. Oh. John, it just was a little cheesy. It looked like a ripoff of like a mobile Warcraft.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I kind of got the vibe when I launched it that it was trying to emulate Warcraft.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of over that. I wish it was more of like a serious gladiator presentation, but whatever. It was okay. But I ended up just playing more Monster Hunter World. Like, especially with watching Elden Ring, like there's not, like I said, there's not like a 1-to-1, but I think if you can appreciate like a tough fight and rolling. By the way, one of the reviews I saw for Shadow of the Erdtree was someone thumbs down. I didn't pay $40 to roll. And I just thought it was funny. There's a lot of the complaints I'm seeing about the game. But I was doing a lot of rolling in Monster Hunter World. And like, I don't know, I'm enjoying the just kind of playing through World and, doing a couple of, boss kills or whatever, monster kills every couple days or week. And it's just a chill kind of fun game to play. So I've watched a lot of Elden Ring. I played a lot of Monster Hunter. I played a lot of Chained Together, but it was kind of a light week. And I'm looking forward here. Do I want to do the Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail expansion this week? Early access is out. I really do want to do it. But at the end of the summer, the World of Warcraft expansion is out, and I don't want to burn myself out on MMOs. So I'm torn right now whether or not I want to do Dawn Trail Final Fantasy. I feel like
when is the WoW expansion? I was thinking about WoW today.
Summer.
Actually.
And I have to do it. I have to do every WoW expansion. I just have to. It's part of it. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I'm probably just going to level a character and quit because I don't think anybody I know is playing. And I'm not like one of those diehard Blizzard fans that is in denial and thinks WoW is still great. I know WoW is shit, but I'm going to probably just play a little bit and have fun with my priests because they were adding like talent trees and cool stuff. So I'll do that. But I was really enjoying the Final Fantasy Online story, so I do want to continue that, but I just don't know if I'm ready to dive into another MMO when there's another one coming when I'm like, okay, you could play Monster Hunter World for like 500 hours. Late August for the WoW expansion, Krell says. But no, I had a really good gaming week, but a lot of, like I said, most of it was just spent kind of watching and chilling too. So looking forward to hearing what Homeless thinks of the DLC, because you were a big Elden Ring guy. You loved the whole game. And I think that's it. So I'm just drinking some black iced tea, unsweetened, to Java. All right, John, what did you do over there?
I did a bunch of shit, actually. I want to talk about... I'll talk about this first. So Nintendo had like that event like a week ago or so, that Direct. And they announced that like Perfect Dark was on Switch Online on the N64. I know you don't care about this, but, Homeless, are you like an N64 guy at all? Do you remember?
Back then I went N64 instead of PlayStation, so I spent a lot of time with all the rare games too.
Now, are you a GoldenEye guy or a Perfect Dark guy?
Well, once Perfect Dark came out, nobody touched GoldenEye, at least in my friend groups, because it had just a lot cooler guns. But I have probably more fond memories back then of GoldenEye.
I mean that split screen, forget it. I mean, I know Perfect Dark had that too, but yeah. So Nintendo released Perfect Dark and also Turok on Switch Online if you're a Switch Online subscriber with the expansion pack. Mm-hmm. And then I go into Switch Online and it's not there. I'm like, what's going on? I launched the N64 thing. It's not there. Nintendo released a separate N64 Switch Online app that is 17 plus.
Wow.
And they put and they put Perfect Dark and Turok in there.
That's weird. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. And it's weird too because I didn't realize that GoldenEye was a teen, because I'm like, well, why isn't GoldenEye in here? And I went and looked and it was rated teen and not mature at the time. I don't think Perfect Dark's any more violent than GoldenEye. If anything, Perfect Dark was a little more like...
So they're calling it the mature Switch Online collection.
Yes. But here, okay, so these rare games are getting a little weird because Microsoft technically owns this, and also GoldenEye. And so Microsoft has released GoldenEye and Perfect Dark on the Xbox. And like on Rare Replay and also on the 360, they released Perfect Dark remastered, which is a totally better version than this emulated bullshit version on the Switch. And what upsets me most about this is that Nintendo did nothing to update the controls. And if you recall, the N64 controller at the time, it seemed fine. You got used to it quick, but going back to that now, it's ridiculous.
So they don't really do anything to make them better. They're just ROMs at this point.
Well, and the one thing they did, though, is you can play online multiplayer with your friends only, like through that tunneling thing they do on Switch Online. Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried any of that, Homeless? Like the online?
Some of it. Yeah. I try not to touch my kids' Switches.
Oh.
But once in a while,
he's PCMR
when I do,
mostly.
I try to do retro.
Yeah. But anyway, if you want to play Perfect Dark, play it on the Xbox and just skip this shit. But personally, I'd never liked Perfect Dark nowhere near as close as GoldenEye. Okay. And the GoldenEye version that they released on Xbox last year is better than the Switch one, too. And it has better controls. It's all updated. There is like a little hack that people do with the Switch. You have to remap in the OS level, in the system settings, your controller to make it feel like a modern controller in Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, which I'm not going to fuck around with.
No, you may as well emulate on PC.
Yeah, exactly. Or on my Steam Deck.
Well, that's a PC, technically, right?
Yes. Just on a side note, Michelle, I picked up the Vampire Survivor DLC, the Contra one.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get that at all, or?
No, I've moved on to the big Survivor clones, the big bad boys, with kind of old for me, VS.
I still like Vampire. Here's the thing. I didn't realize, because Vampire Survivor came out of early access, right? And I guess I haven't played since, because I load up the game and I have nothing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I got bit again by this early access shit. Do you guys like this when they do this where...
They didn't reset everything, as far as I know.
They did for me. I had nothing. No characters, no achievements, no unlocks, no nothing, no money. I had zero.
Weird. I feel like your cloud save messed up, because I've never lost anything. But then again,
really?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing for years, though. So maybe because it's been out of early access for a while. Yeah, because Kevin says it didn't reset on him either. So yeah, I think that's you.
So maybe it didn't grab the cloud save? That's strange. It's really weird.
What else are you playing? Playing.
But by the way, I do think this Operation Guns, which is what they call the DLC, it's like $250. It's totally worth it. Like, okay. I'm back into Vampire Survivors.
It has, I mean, it's guns, right? It's all about guns and...
Well, I haven't actually unlocked the Konami characters yet. So I'm playing with the original ones.
Okay.
And then so I looked online. There's like a bunch of like things you need to do in the level to get the Konami characters with the guns. And like there's like a map that you have to find in the level and then go find some coffin. And then you get the first guy. And then once you have him, then you start getting those weapons. So now I'm playing.
You don't know if it's worth it yet because you've been playing old content.
I played I got to level 20 something like a few times playing it tonight. But so I experienced all of the stuff, the monsters, the creatures, the levels, and all that. I just don't
Contra stuff.
Yeah, I played I played the
so
maps.
You can play it without the dudes. That's good.
Yes, because again, I played it with the starting guy.
Gotcha.
Guy singular, and then I unlocked the rest of them like within 15 minutes. I got them all back.
Okay.
Like the caster and the whatever. But I do think it's interesting that because there is a little documentary with I don't know where it is, but if you just Google like Vampire Survivor creator interview documentary, I thought it was really interesting because that guy was like kind of obsessed with Castlevania, which kind of inspired the art for Vampire Survivors. Mm-hmm. And then now he's doing Contra, which is made by Konami, who made Castlevania. I don't know. There's like a synergistic thing going on there to me. But seek that out. It's like some Italian guy who just accidentally made this game on his spare time. Not accidentally, but it was an accidental hit for him. He released it on Twitch.
Sort of spawned a new genre, even though, Bullet Hell, Bullet Heaven, whatever. It sort of spawned a new genre. So.
Yeah. No, it totally did. The Survivor is absolutely a genre now.
Yeah, Diablo, the next season, they're adding a Survivor mode, basically. It's like an endless horde mode of things. So even bigger games are doing this.
Yeah.
Have they added a ton of stuff to this since the original big hype around Vampire Survivors?
There's been a lot of expansions, characters, right?
There's like 20-something characters now. There's like 50 weapons and spells, and like it's just a lot of stuff. And like in the Contra one, like the little floaty things in Contra that have the weapons you shoot, like those are in the level, and if you shoot those, they drop little like timed buffs. Like your guy will like be on fire for 30 seconds and invincible, or he'll get a bubble or something. So like that's one thing they added. They added like all the bridge in Contra you go over in the beginning on the first level. Like that's in there. The map definitely wants to scroll more to the right. Like they're kind of like forcing that in a way with the bridges. So it's but there's a lot of like characters and monsters and creatures in there that don't read to me as being from Contra, but I think maybe later Contra games, like on the PlayStation and stuff, is where they're pulling some of the assets from too. Because like the stuff I'm seeing, I don't remember from the NES.
I think my favorite one with my sister was Hardcore. I think maybe that was Genesis. I don't even remember.
Yeah, we talked about that like a few weeks ago.
But Contra's huge. I mean, do kids even know what Contra is? I mean,
no.
Yeah.
Well, they had a new Contra game in the last year. Remember?
Yeah.
Unless it comes on Fortnite, they're not going to know what Contra is.
Yeah, I feel like it's cool though. I'm glad they're just supporting it because It's still new to a lot of people. You remember Matt Bradford used to make fun of us like 5 years ago when we brought it up. But a lot of people just still don't even understand what the game is because it's not out. Is it out on PlayStation? I don't even know if it is.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it might only be PC
Game
Switch.
Pass
I don't even
PC,
know
I
at this
think.
point. Okay.
What, Vampire
And Switch,
Survivors?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of rolled out to consoles
It's on
later.
Game Pass.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it still really well balanced with all the new stuff, or is it too much? Because I did like it when it first was early access. It seemed like everything was there for a reason.
Yeah.
All the weapons,
He did a
all the
good job
characters.
with balance.
I would say that, yeah, the DLC stuff I played felt balanced and fair. Yeah.
Right on.
But the only thing is, though, they added more choke points, like those bridges. And it's very, like, so you'll be on a bridge that you can't get off of up and down. And all of a sudden, you're getting swarmed left and right, like basically on a hallway, and you're fucked. And they did something that I don't agree with. The monsters don't respect the terrain. And they can walk over water. They can walk through the bridge. They can walk over mountains and hills. And you can't. So,
Well,
so
they're
they're just
monsters. I mean,
I know, but they're like coming in from all directions, and you're like stuck on a bridge, and you have to adhere to the properties of the bridge, and the monsters don't.
well, they're monsters, John. I mean, we don't know the rules for monsters.
All right, I want to talk about this game. So I love cyberpunk aesthetic. I love Blade Runner city aesthetic and all that. And there's a game that came out that I saw some news stories about, and Michelle, you saw it too. This is a dark, cozy game.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because it's a new genre, the dark side of cozy. What is it? You're just building a city?
Yeah, so this game's called Dystopica, like dystopia, but with K-A at the end, Dystopica. And when you launch the game, it says this. And I think this really kind of like just kind of describes
John.
it. No, it just describes the game perfectly. So when you launch the game, it says, this is a tiny game about future cities. Created over the course of a single year of travel across Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam, and inspired by late nights wandering vast cities. There is no management, no
I hope
goals.
this guy never left his mother's basement and just coded
no
this like
stress.
Cincinnati. I don't believe anything this guy's saying.
There's no management, no goals, no stress, only dark, cozy vibes. This was a labor of love. Thank you for playing, Matt.
Wow, we need a sob story like this. We're going to put a game out.
But you know what? It sounds stupid me saying it, but the presentation of all this, it just like it really worked because like that text came up like on a terminal when you launched the game.
That's cool.
Like it didn't like
If it's
take you
true.
out of it. So what he did here, first of all, I got to give this guy a lot of credit for just the vibes of everything, the music.
How many times are you going to say vibes in this review? Let's get a vibe counter going.
There's a lot of vibes going on here.
Yeah,
and
of course.
So like the menu system is really just like kind of creative and unique and a little mysterious with these icons, but you figure it out really fast. But it has like this very futuristic kind of look to it. Everything does. And then you basically start out with a blank canvas. It's very reminiscent of Blade Runner right out of the gate. Like when you're looking at
and Cyberpunk, right?
Well, really Blade Runner more personally. Like, the opening.
Didn't Cyberpunk the book come before Blade Runner and it was all based off that? Is that like what's that the
I don't
tone?
think so. I think
Okay.
Cyberpunk
I don't know.
RPG
Whatever.
book came out in 1988.
The whole cyberpunk genre, was it invented then? I don't know the history.
The cyberpunk game is based on the cyberpunk RPG tabletop game that came out in 88.
Okay.
But anyway, okay. So like the opening sequence of Blade Runner, you have like, they did like those practical effects, with this kind of smoky vibe and the ships flying in and the vantage point, the vibe, yes. And so when the game kind of starts out like really like the beginning of Cyberpunk, I mean the beginning of Blade Runner. But what you do is you have like all of these different buildings and different types of buildings. You can either select random or you could select different specific kinds of buildings. They have like different like neighborhoods you can choose from, like, downtown or these different corporations. And so if you pick one of the corporations and you start putting buildings down, they're kind of like industrial evil buildings, and then kind of evil corporation buildings. And then you have like two of those corporation type of buildings you could select, and you drop them down. You can put them anywhere you want. You can scale them up or down. You can make giant skyscrapers or flat, like 5-story buildings. And then you have like this, and then you're just putting stuff everywhere. There's like no rules. You could do anything you fucking want. And then you have all of these like lighting effects and weather effects, and you can control the sun. And that like drastically changes just how everything looks, and you can like play around with it. And basically, this is almost like a Photoshop cyberpunk creator, like cityscape thing, like to make wallpapers and shit. And then there's like a camera system that you can go into where you can take screenshots, and then you can also do like animated cameras that go through the area. Like you select a starting point and an end point for the camera,
cool wallpaper,
and then press play. Yeah,
even
you
like
totally
a live
can.
Wallpaper.
And then you can
Jedi
put like
says, "Do androids dream of electric sheep equals Blade Runner? The book came first." Yes, I remember hearing that.
Yeah, and then you can like put neon signs on all the buildings. You can actually type text on it. Like I put VGO on it and put it on a building, cool. and you could, and then the more you play it, the more stuff you unlock. So when you start, you have like, a few buildings and little decorations. And then after you plant like X amount of buildings, you've unlocked some hologram that you could put in there. And basically that's like the whole game. It's just that the more you put into the world, the more like stuff you unlock to put back into the world. And really it's just like a chill screenshot maker is kind of what it is. But it's necessarily not bad. And it's on sale right now, I think for $7. But it's a total chill game. I don't really see myself playing like 50 hours of this, but it's well executed and it has the vibes. Michelle, would you do this?
I want some gameplay, maybe just like a tiny bit, even probably. But no, I like just building games. I mean, I played Valheim sometimes just to build. Yeah,
and then all right, on the Switch, I picked up Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. And I know that when we had, who was on the show that we talked about the other game? O'Malley talked about Metal Slug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he talked about Metal Slug Tactics.
Yes, this is an actual remake of an older game.
Yeah, so this is like a redo of a game that was called Metal Slug.
I even asked you for the show. Do you have all your game names prepared?
This game is called Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. There was a game before it that it was based on that went away that was on mobile, and I guess people were exploiting that game because your game save was on your phone locally. Mm-hmm. And so people were like hacking their game save and going online and playing against other people, and like they were just like OP. And so I guess they took that game down and then remade it like this for the consoles. And the one thing they were pushing,
Steam, right?
Yeah, consoles and Steam. The one thing they were pushing, which I thought was weird, was that it was easy to learn controls. Like I kept seeing that everywhere. Like easy to learn controls or something. Easy controls. Like what is that?
It's great
like,
for people with like one finger.
Yeah, even on Steam, hardcore action with easy controls. I kept seeing that everywhere. When I was
did the
looking
old original game have hard controls or something, and they went and switched it up?
It was a touchscring before, right? Because it was on iOS.
No, but the original game was not just an old game from back in the day, ever?
No. It was like an iOS game. No, yeah.
Interesting. That's weird. Easy controls.
Yeah.
Maybe it's really simple because it was a mobile game and they're selling it like it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a remaster of the original game called Metal Slug Attack. This is and that Metal Slug Attack came out in 2016.
Okay.
And it was on iOS and Android. Yeah, actually I do. It's kind of like a deck building game. I don't think it's like perfect in any way. I think it's going to get boring, and it's starting to a little bit. But I think it's priced right, and what I've played so far, I feel like I've already got my money's worth with it. It was only $10. But basically, you have like the entire Metal Slug world that has like a gazillion characters, and it's a deck building game, and it's a tower defense game. And so you basically have a counter that's going up, and you're getting points that you can use to spend on your cards. You play your cards, and then you have the guys are coming out of your base, and the enemies are coming out of their base, and a meeting in the middle. And it's just a tug of war. You're trying to push them back all the way to the base, and then you blow up their base, and that's it. And then in between rounds, you basically spend all your points or what you earn, the currency, to basically roll for new cards. And then you're constantly managing your deck and just swapping things in and out. And you can upgrade all your cards. Every single card is upgradable with like tons of different stats. So there's a lot here and a lot to do. It's not just like a tower defense. It's like managing your squad, managing your cards, deciding which ones to play in the deck. And you might want to adapt. There's bosses at the end of each level. There's quests that you do. It's cool. Like, it really is. It plays great. I don't think it's super hard yet. I'm like on the third world. I beat like the first 3 bosses.
And it has easy controls.
Which I don't understand why they keep saying that. But it is controller friendly. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Is there PvP in this, or is it just...
You know,
did
there
they
might
pull
be
the PvP from the...
I don't know if there is PvP, and I didn't even look for it.
Okay.
Must be in the other app now.
Yeah, they
17 plus.
If they were exploiting it, maybe they pulled all the PvP, because that would be the only thing that might be interesting to me. But
yeah, I don't even. I didn't even think to look or try. I was playing against I'm doing the campaign, like the story mode.
I'm looking at it now. Online 2 players, looks like you can go against another player, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense because it started out that way on mobile. So,
yeah.
But I'm just doing the campaign, and there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of text. They're trying to tell some fucking story that I don't care about. There's just like static characters on the screen talking to you with text over and over and over and over again, talking about the bad army that's trying to destroy the world, and we got to do something. So like that's like the narrative of the whole game. But yeah, it's pretty cool. For $10, I'm totally happy with it. I got it on the Switch. It's on Steam. I guess I could have played it on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it for me. I'm drinking a Weihenstephaner.
I don't know what that is.
Weihenstephaner NA. It's a Bavarian. It's a Weiss beer. It's an NA Weiss beer that's actually excellent.
Okay. Well,
all right, Homeless.
What are you playing other than Elden Ring? First, let's get that out of the way. Anything you want to talk about?
Elden Ring. Yeah, sure. So I'm notoriously casual with video games. I think that's half the reason I listened to you guys for so long is you keep me kind of plugged in, and I don't have to dabble. But I do tend to buy things and then spend 2 hours and never touch it again. But lately, I convinced my wife that we should try Grounded. I thought she might dig it, and it's become like an obsession in the house.
Really?
Even my 10-year-old's playing. I had to up his Game Pass on my tablet, but it streams really well on there.
Oh yeah.
So everybody else is on PC. He's playing through Game Pass
with a controller on a tablet, obviously.
Yeah. I've got like one of the Samsung. I think it's like 2 years old, maybe, but it was their 14-inch, and they get this. It's an Xbox controller called a Moga. Has the worst name ever, but it syncs beautifully with Android. So it plays really well. But yeah, it's a way deeper game than I thought it would be. I don't usually get into all these survival craft stuff at all. It's not usually appealing, and something that looks like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Fortnite had a baby wouldn't typically appeal to me. But there's so much there when you really start
playing. There's a lot of depth. Obsidian did a great job with this game. Like when it launched, it was weak, but same thing happened to me. We waited till it was like done, and my friends and I got addicted to this. I recommend if you've never tried it with your kids or wife, like check out Astroneer. It's another survival craft, but it's got like kind of a Lego feeling to it. And it's one of those games where you just like don't expect to like it because it looks kind of cartoony, but it's like has a lot of depth and is really badass. So there's the cool thing about Grounded is like you can just build if you want to stay back at the base and build. You can go out and hunt bugs. You can go out and hunt secrets. You can do the puzzles. Like there's a lot to do. Zip lines. Have you done a zip line yet?
Oh yeah, we've got them going all over the place to make
get around you're
easier.
In deep then. Once you get the zip lines going, that's the good stuff.
Yeah, and it's fun because we started getting pretty powerful and comfortable, and everybody's willing to venture out. But now the story's kind of twisted, and they're throwing stuff at us.
Yep.
That wasn't there before. So what you're familiar with is suddenly not safe anymore. So I dig it. And I think we're almost like 60 hours in on that. So
it's a good game.
So are you telling me that Microsoft does have really good games?
They added it to Game Pass. It's not only there. It's on
I know,
PC.
but it is a Microsoft owned game. They put it on everything though, but
I don't think
to be
people
fair,
have a
I'm
problem.
playing it on Steam. But
Yeah. I don't think anyone has a problem
It is
with
on
like
Game Pass.
the games that they add to Game Pass. Like there's some good games there now, Monster Hunter or Remnant, but it's the first party Microsoft games that kind of get them mocked sometimes. That's all. I don't think it's like the other games they add. And I know you're going to say it's first party because it's yes, but you know what I'm saying. It's not just things they bought, right? It's Microsoft themselves. Can they? But look, we saw Doom, Gears of War, and a lot of good stuff coming to Game Pass. But
it's going to take me a while to really get familiar with what is first party from Microsoft now. It's not instinctual when I see it.
Like, do you think Call of Duty first party Microsoft now?
I mean, it's got to be, right? They own it and they have direct control over it.
Right.
So, but it doesn't feel that like it's going to take time.
Yeah.
That's not what I think of when I think of Call of Duty. I don't think Xbox necessarily.
Right. But I'm sure Microsoft's going to do everything in their power to make you think of Xbox when you think of Call of Duty eventually. Right.
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah. They spent plenty of money on that. They should definitely
they should reap the rewards.
That
That's the point of buying studios, is to have games for Game Pass. And if you get it now and you're new to it, you're going to find a lot of stuff to poke around with, especially upcoming months here.
But I did also pick up some of those demos after the whole Games Fest thing and the Microsoft show, and nothing that really blew me away. I did like that Hell Survivors. I don't know if you ever gave that a go,
I
Michelle.
played some of that. That was cool. It was it started to get challenging. Just a typical, like, John, it's like this Survivor style game, but I remember like the guns were heavily featured, right?
Yeah, and at first they felt really inadequate. You had to click each time for each shot. You had to. It's almost like a dual stick shooter, but I was using mouse and keyboard. But then you start finding the gun upgrades, and you get in some more kind of AOE things that go around.
Yeah, I think this is one
graphically
you might like
it looked a lot better.
Yeah, and then you tried Flintlock and didn't like it. John, you've been talking up Flintlock, and it comes out next Tuesday or next month or soon. Are you ever going to play it again?
No.
Okay, see, you really didn't like it. I don't trust your reviews anymore.
No, I did like it. I think it was good.
You're like gung-ho about something, but your experience with it was a little different,
I did
right?
not dislike that game. But it is on Game Pass, so I guess I could play it. But no, I liked what I played.
You said it was great and you were definitely going to play it, but it's coming to Game Pass and you won't play it. It's weird.
Well, because I had a brain fart. I just suddenly remembered it's on Game Pass, so maybe I won't play it.
Okay.
So,
all right. So, Homeless, I know you tried that and your feeling on it was a little lukewarm, right?
Yeah, and this will overlap with kind of the Elden Ring DLC review, but I've played so much of Elden Ring, I cannot help but to compare it, especially stuff that's obviously inspired by it and feels the same way.
You think Flintlock was?
Big time. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's giving them a lot of credit. I wouldn't even put them in the same category with what I saw. But like,
I mean, I didn't read that when I was playing it.
Why play the lesser version when he's playing the good stuff? He's saying basically, but yeah.
You could tell what they kind of took from the Souls games. They obviously wanted to make it easier and more accessible, but it just felt really watered down in the combat and movement. Everything was floaty. It didn't have that weight to it. Kind of like, Michelle, you are with chopping trees down. You want it to have some weight. I want to feel like the armor, the footfalls, the swinging a sword. It's got to have some momentum to it. And that
see, to me, Flintlock was more about the combos with the melee and the gun and doing that together.
It looked actiony and floaty in the animation. It looked weird. I understand what he means about the weightiness because that Monster Hunter has that. Like there's a meaning to what you're doing. If you fuck up, that could kill you. There's no time to recover. Like same thing with Remnant, and I assume all the Souls-like games. Like if you fuck up, you're going to pay for that. So you better time it right and you better do it right. But I don't know if I'll try Flintlock myself.
All right, so are we? Go ahead.
I did like that Erdtree demo too, but whatever mechanisms they were coming up in that game, it didn't make sense to me out of the gate, and I'm fickle enough that's enough to. I probably won't go back, but it felt good. So if anybody's really into like every Souls game they can get their hands on, that might be a fun one to. Yeah,
it's coming out in the fall, so maybe it'll start to be a little bit better. But I was more interested in that than Flintlock. Erdtree, it looked prettier too.
Yeah, agreed there.
Song. Yeah,
and I did get pulled into the the Discord trend of playing Inside, so I also ran through that.
Now, John, have you played Inside? They're going crazy for this thing, like the best game ever made. And I couldn't get into it. I must just have walking sideways.
I must have played. I had to have played this.
No, you're
didn't
a fan though. You're a big fan. You're an inside guy. Sell us on
Is this like
here.
Limbo and all that or shit? Like
Crafty's
exactly
giving away
like
3
Limbo,
copies
same
in our
studio.
Discord.
But I totally played this when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure we
it
all
also
did.
looks like Limbo though. So
Yeah.
I liked Limbo years ago. Limbo, it was so long ago. I played it on a Mac. That's how long ago Limbo was. I would never do such a thing now. But yeah,
hey, the
Inside
Mac
kind of plays the
wasn't
same.
that bad when they had the Intel chips.
It was okay, but
I mean, I played a lot of World of Warcraft and Counter-Strike on my iMac.
I played a lot of Portal.
Yeah, Portal 2.
That's about
My
the only thing you get on
daughter finished Portal on iMac.
there. Yeah. But if you enjoyed that and you like kind of those little puzzles and just a short game that's going to have maybe a loose, not loose, but it's going to have a story you got to kind of think about to understand. Inside's fun for that. It was about 4 hours. Enjoyed it, made me think, and I'll take those little puzzle platformers once in a while. It's always fun.
It's a fun game to make fun of because you just anytime I watched people play, they're walking sideways or they're hiding. It's a puzzle game though, right? And it's on mobile too. I actually think it's free on mobile, John.
Inside is?
Yeah. Last I looked, it was free.
Oh.
Ted, it is not the official game of VGO. Don't do us like that. No. Official game of the Discord. No. But 3 copies being given away in the Discord. Thanks, Crafty. Shout out. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the drama and then we'll take a break and get into the game. But right off the bat, like there was some mixed reviews coming in for Shadow of the Erdtree. People saying it was too hard and the developer saying, look, we can't make it easier. It will break the game itself. And John, you linked me a review where someone just said doing my part and just thumbs downed it. Do we feel like, and I want to get your take here, Homeless, that this is just like a gangbang of jumping on something? Do you think these people are actually playing or actually
I think the term is review bomb, not gangbang.
Review bomb,
just so you know.
A gangbang. Let's go with that. I think this is a gangbang against
I'm
Elden
pretty
Ring.
sure it's review bomb.
I think gangbang sounds friendlier.
I'd like to see headline on like Kotaku. Yeah. How Elden Ring was gangbanged on
Elden
Steam.
Ring sorry, let me rephrase. A gang bomb. I like that even better, Tara. That's perfect. Or do you think, are you, as a guy who played some Souls games and played Elden Ring, do you think this is too difficult for you to play? Go.
It shouldn't be too difficult for anybody who can actually get into it to play.
Okay.
Because you can't just pick it up and go. You have to get to a certain point in the game where you've already beaten some really hard bosses.
Yeah, that's the question I had. So, like, how
did
far
they even do it? They probably just got the game, figured out they hadn't killed the guy they needed and couldn't play it and got pissed and left a bad review.
Well, now, Michelle, you and I were looking at some articles that saying like 90-something% of the people can't even play this DLC.
Yeah, but they went in and made it easier before the launch. They added, I forget what it was, Homeless, but they let, like, I don't know how they did it, but they went in and made it easier so you could kill the boss for the DLC.
Well, actually, one of the things they did made it harder.
Okay.
There was a known cheese so one of the bosses you have to beat to get into the DLC is Moog. He's one of the shard bearers in the story. And there was a cheese forever where if you were an intelligence build and doing a lot of sorcery, you could charge up this big giant blast pretty much and one-shot him because there's a certain spell you can cast and a certain physic, like a flask that you can drink beforehand. It would give you however many seconds of uninterrupted FP where it wouldn't drain. So you could do this really big blast that typically would immediately drain your FP for 8 seconds, and it would just melt it. He would just walk straight into it like an idiot. They nerfed that in the most recent patch, so they're trying to actually make it so people do have to earn getting through. The easy part is the community, wanted everybody to get in, so there was people just posted up there to be summoned, and they were built to just shred them. So it was not hard. If you were willing to bring in other players into your world, you would have no problem getting by Moog.
Okay.
But most people really aren't going to do that, right? Just a normal Target shopping gamer. My
sister beat the game, John.
But they're going to summon a person that they're going to, I know, but I'm saying to summon someone in there to help them get past a point to play the DLC.
I would think so. They make it so it's really easy and common sense because right outside the fog walls before the bosses, you have your summoning pools.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be like these, the community leaves messages everywhere. So there's always stuff like, you need bring a friend, something like that to let people know this is going to be tough. So yeah, I think there was a lot of summoning there. I've seen things on
normal
Reddit
people shop at Target, Gyros. Yeah, what does that mean? Like normal people who shop at Target, like people who play Elden Ring don't shop at Target.
I was trying to describe just like an average person that goes to electronic department in Target, buys the game, goes home and plays it, and then goes to a laundromat. So
they got
after.
to the DLC, and From's DLCs are always harder than the base game, and they couldn't out-level the first guy. They ran into it and died and left a bad review. I'm not hearing it's too hard from anybody I know, from veteran Souls players, from casual people in our community who've never played a Souls game before. I haven't heard from one person, this is too hard for me to play. So where are these people? It's like,
well, we talked about it on Micro or whatever it was, our subs. Like people are like, it's like a badge of honor to say that this is too hard and I'm leaving a bad review. Like people are getting like whatever high fives for it.
Yeah, just doing my part. I'm proud and brave. This game's too hard. I mean, I get the performance stuff, but it's very weird to hear that it's too hard from these people that I just haven't met yet in the community or people I know playing. So they're saying like it's unplayable, it's too hard. So I don't know. All right, well,
like I'm reading here that like 60% of the people cannot even play the DLC right now. Like they haven't qualified.
But they probably weren't picking up the DLC anyway. I mean, it's for not everybody picks up the DLC. They probably most people don't finish a game. Most people in every game, not just Elden Ring, play for 2 hours and turn it off, like Homeless just said, right?
Yeah.
I did it. I played a little Elden Ring. I decided it was more fun for me to watch it. That doesn't mean I don't like the game or I shouldn't. So I think that that's a weird thing. Yeah, 60% of people can't do it because 60% of people probably didn't buy the DLC and don't want to.
Yeah, they're just saying that only 37% of Steam players have defeated Moog, and 35 on PlayStation defeated Moog. Moog.
Yeah.
Moog.
Yep.
Moog.
You got to invest a lot of hours to get to that point. It's not something you can just jump right in.
Yeah.
There's a few cheeses you can do along the way to up your rune level, but it's not enough to get to Moog and then beat him.
One shot him or something.
No chance. Like you have to invest like a good 30, 40, 50 hours to get to that point typically.
Yeah, and most gamers aren't doing that with any game, John. I think that's what it is. And
yeah, no. Well, it's an interesting question to me. Like, I mean, is this how DLC should always be released, or it just continues?
It's like a whole other game. And I think people that did, it's for people that beat the first game and they want to walk in and feel like they don't want to feel overpowered like they did at the end of the first game. I mean, it's like a new WoW expansion, John. You don't walk into the new expansion as strong as you were at the end of the last one, right? It's sort of a little bit of a reset.
But WoW does give you like a max level character or whatever to play the expansion, or a previous max level.
Right. I mean, one's an MMO though, so maybe that was a bad example on my part. I'm saying people acting shocked and appalled and that they've played every Souls game before, but this one is too difficult for them. I kind of question that. I kind of think they're lying because from what I've heard, like the Bloodborne DLC was insane and like it's kind of like what they do. And yet we have people in our community that have never played a Souls game and are playing the DLC. All right. So enough about the drama. Let's talk about kind of your first impressions with like the world, the scale. Does it live up to the greatness of the original Elden Ring game? Because to you, I think it was like damn near a 10 of 10 or close to it.
It's probably the only thing I'd put 10 of 10. I before this, I was more of the story driven, Last of Us kind of games. Maybe Halo back in the day is something I went back to over and over again, but I would kind of put those on a pedestal with the games of my childhood, right? Yep. Those were kind of my favorite all time games. I wasn't a Souls guy. I had dabbled in Bloodborne. I had dabbled in the Demon Souls remake, but they didn't really grab me at that point. Mm-hmm. Elden Ring took me by surprise, like how much I really got into it after a while. It was a bit of a grind at first, but it became something that I constantly wanted to go back to because it has so much depth. Yep. And I've invested probably like 1,000 hours at this point.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It's because I always want to share with other people, and then I try to get them involved. I'm like, I'll spin up a character, I'll help you out, we'll get you through. Yeah, which is maybe why there's a bunch of people that think it's hard is they got help to get through the first part of it, and the DLC is kicking their ass.
But does it make you want to go back to other Souls games you've maybe missed, like at some point when it's all done, and or do you think you're like, or is it only Elden Ring that for whatever reason just kind of appeals to you?
So it's not just the combat and everything of Elden Ring that appeals to me, because I have gone and dabbled in some of the other ones. It's a mix of a few things. It's the way that they pulled off multiplayer. It's the way how big the world is and how different all the sections are. It's the story. Like I'm a big George R. R. Martin fan before HBO fucked up Game of Thrones at the end.
Yeah.
But like the little bits of lore that he shoved into the background of it. There's so many little things there. When I first played, I didn't catch any of it. I had people ask me, because I was raving about the game, like, what's the story? I was like, I don't fucking know. I'm not following any of it. But on subsequent playthroughs, I read and ingested everything, and it's crazy deep. And that was part of what I was really excited about for this DLC, is learning more, because so much of it's open to interpretation and unresolved. And that's been really exciting to see where they were taking it in that direction for the DLC.
Yeah, and it also has, like, I love like Lord of the Rings. I just love the look of the world too, because it's like dark fantasy. It doesn't look like Avowed looks or like the new Dragon Age looks. Like, it actually looks badass. Like, you have to appreciate, at least for me, like, I like the sort of gritty realism yet also fantasy dark feeling of Elden Ring. So it's really cool to look at. And the story, so like I said, we will be getting into like minor spoilers here. This is kind of your warning.
I'll try to be careful of spoiling like the big holy shit moments that I've seen in the DLC, but there will probably be some stuff in the story that I'll touch on for the original game for it to make sense.
Okay.
But yeah, to sum up your question there, it's a 10 out of 10 so far for me on the DLC. I think it's well worth it. I should have clocked how much time I've spent this week, to actually get to the point I'm at, but it's got to be like 30 hours, I think so far, 20, 30. I don't know. It says I played 90 something over the last 2 weeks. I think most of that's been over the last few days. I shoved everything else in my life out of the way.
So you got to do that though. It takes a day off work and you got to binge.
Did they add, is it like all new, like a new region, a new area on the map? Like how does it work? How do you get the new content?
So without doing a 30-minute lore dump to put everybody to sleep, there's one of these demigods that's mentioned in the story you never get to interact with. They're kind of heralded as maybe the most important and the most ambitious, and they were trying to come up with this new rule of order to usurp what's there right now. His name is Mikola, and part of the story, his own uncle kind of steals him away. He wants to raise him to godhood and be his consort. Little bit of that George R. R. Martin incest coming in there.
Yeah, and that's the sister, the brother of the woman from the first game, right? One of the harder bosses that he was optional, Melania, or
Okay. Melania was his sister, his twin sister. They're all kind of related because they're all children of America in some way or another.
I didn't know what they meant by consort, because I saw one of the bosses like consort of, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that his gay lover? Like, I was like kind of confused, like with the story, what was going on. It's like they say it's up for interpretation, what's really happening with the story. But the way they tell the story is unique. It's not just in your face with like a quest with a exclamation point and reading. No,
there's hardly any of those dialogue dumps that drive me nuts in RPGs where I got to sit there and listen to somebody blab and blab and blab. You have to dig. You have to look at the items that you pick up and what's written there, key things in the environment. And you can bypass all of that if you just want to hit shit with a sword.
Yep.
You can totally do that. But for this here, Mikola, you never interact with. He's like comatose or dead in this cocoon, and he was stolen away from where he was. Once you kill Moog, you can access Mikola at that point. And Radon. There's another boss, spoiler alert, Radon, that you have to make sure you kill in the regular game. But what happens once you download all the DLC stuff, there will be a new NPC standing there at that area, and they'll pretty much tell you to, touch the withered hand to go into the Shadow Realm. And once you do, you start out in a brand new map. It's not attached to the original one.
Okay.
It's whole new areas, completely separate.
A new dimension.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not like farther east, west, or anywhere. It's like a separate map, different dimension, but it's all related to the normal one. You start to find out things about stuff in the world and the lore of Elden Ring that kind of come from here or were created there. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, you don't get to see what the whole map is when you start.
Right.
So slowly over time, it kind of unveils as you find different.
And do you ever
portions
have
of the
to
map.
go back to the old map, or are you just in there now till the end?
No, constantly.
Oh,
you do.
okay.
So all the day-to-day stuff you do, like upgrading weapons, if you want to respec your character, any of those things are going to be back at the normal game, and you can fast travel, sites of grace, bonfires, whatever you want to call them. You can fast travel right back to the regular game. The character that I brought in, I hadn't even beat the game. I had just gotten to the point where both those bosses were killed. So if I wanted, I could stop playing the DLC, switch back over, and progress the regular story from the main game at that point, which is kind of nice. Like you're not stuck just doing one or the other.
And the map is massive, right? I mean, it's a whole Elden Ring again, right? People have said because it's more vertical. So even though it's a little smaller, it's more vertical maybe, and it just feels like you get there and you're still exploring the whole thing, or have you uncovered it all, or where are you at?
I still have a big chunk that hasn't been uncovered yet. It just kind of remains foggy until you find that area.
Yep.
I didn't want to just hit the story beats when I started, and I made sure not to look anything up. When I first played the base game, like I said, I wasn't a Souls guy. I was very intimidated. So I looked things up constantly because I knew I was going to get my ass kicked. I needed help. So I was like, well, what kind of sword should I get? Where do I need to go? Where is this? I wanted to, at this point, do none of that. So I just plugged my ears, stayed off Reddit.
Yep.
And as soon as the game came out, I explored on my own, which took me to places that over time, I've realized aren't part of the natural progression. So I was in areas that were either too hard or I didn't have items yet to kind of finish.
That's kind of fun though, right? Isn't that a little fun?
100%.
A little frustrating. Yeah, that was always the fun and WoW for me, just finding a zone I didn't belong in and getting my ass kicked. But you got to experience the game from two different sides. And I kind of like that recommendation. Like because a lot of people listening probably have never played Elden Ring. I feel like you should do the first part like guided, kind of do the guides. And then if you get the expansion, just go into that now that you're more of familiar with it, and go into that and don't look anything up. No guides, no whatever, because part of the fun, part of the magic, it sounds like it's just getting into some shit you shouldn't be in yet.
I think early game Elden Ring, it's totally reasonable for people to look stuff up and get any help you can just to get started. The game is so big.
Yep.
To get started and get used to the mechanics and what does what, and start to feel that kind of reward from trial and error and all that. It helps to have someone push you along, where to go, even join your world and help you. Totally fine. And then after a while, I really doubt you'll want that the whole game.
Okay.
You'll want to do things on your own and kind of experience that. But don't let the gatekeepers stop you from playing. The game includes so many ways for you to make it a little bit easier when you need it. You don't have to use those. It doesn't degrade, the successes, and the game even scales a little bit to be harder if you're bringing in extra help.
Okay.
Which is fair, but that's okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
I think the most fun I've had is when I've certain parts where I played with other people, especially when I've done playthroughs and I was like, I want to hurry up and get through this part. I don't want to grind. And then I would have a whole character build where I was summoning almost like every area. And it's fun. Like it's really fun to just run through with a bunch of random strangers. You're not talking to each other, but somehow everybody's communicating with kind of the emotes. And
what did John call it that time? You're being telepathic with somebody in a game, John. You get that, right? In Helldivers,
yeah, that's happened. You were connecting. Without even talking, we all knew what was going on.
Of course, yeah.
There's little gestures and kind of etiquette that you learn after a while. And I had people like signal me to follow them at some point off the beaten path, and they took me to secret areas. And then over time, when I started getting really into the community and doing stuff online, I'd return the favor tons of times for people that I was helping out. I knew the ways to go at that point, so I dragged them over to get a hidden item, which, by the way, there will be a ton of as people start doing more, online multiplayer for the DLC. There is a shit ton of hidden stuff all around.
That's awesome.
I've been really impressed. It pays off to kind of do your own thing and check things, because they've tucked away like whole sections of the map to get to. You'd have to, you never get there unless you just happen to look around a corner. Oh, there's a ladder here. And then boom, it opens up like a whole huge area. That's not essential for the DLC story necessarily, but there's like whole big bosses and weapons and stuff there that you would never know about if you didn't look around.
That's cool because so many people design games like, well, if not everybody's going to see it, it's not worth designing. No, that's not true. Like part of what made Elden Ring cool, right, was people loved that felt like they were one of the few people that stumbled upon this, and maybe you wouldn't find
those
everything,
are the best
but you
memories
found
in
something
gaming.
your friend didn't find. Your friend found something you didn't find. That's awesome. Like it's not lazy because maybe it's not for everybody, but it's going to be for someone who finds it. And so, yeah, if you look up every single thing, maybe you can get everything. But if you don't, you won't see everything. And that's okay. I feel like you lose the exploration if you don't.
That's one thing I would caution if you're considering jumping into this because of the hype and because it looks fun or interesting, and you're feeling pressure to get everything. I don't think I found everything in Elden Ring, like the base game, until my 6th or 7th playthrough. There was always something. Whether it's a quest line that I was finishing or I mean, there's so much stuff tucked away.
This makes me want to like restart the game. And honestly, like on Steam Deck, which, I'm on a lot, that Elden Ring has been pushed on that for like a year, like since launch.
How's the performance on that? Because it
plays awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
my oldest son got a Steam Deck earlier this year, I think. And I kept bugging him. I bought him a copy of Elden Ring, a couple years ago, and he barely played it. But once he got his Steam Deck, he's like, "All right, this is a perfect game." So he started up, and he's pretty far in it now. He just picks it up once in a while. But we were playing a lot together, and it runs beautifully on there.
I'm reading. There's an article from Rock Paper Shotgun from the other day. It says the Steam Deck is one of the best ways to play Elden Ring, and now Shadows of the Erdtree too. And they're saying it's like in the 30s. I don't know. I guess you could probably play with the settings, though. You can get it if you're got. Do you know what the frames are he's getting?
No, but we never dock it because you'll probably notice it a lot more on a TV. But if you're playing mobile, it seems pretty damn. Well,
that's how
handheld.
Yeah, that's how Cyberpunk was for me on the Steam Deck. It's like on this little screen, totally fine. If I plug it into a TV, forget it. It's gonna look like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, I mean the PC version's locked at 60 anyway. Like they.
Yeah, I remember
it's
that.
It's definitely a console game first and foremost. It runs great on PC. I've had a couple stutters going through the DLC. Nothing major, but I had like 1 or 2 times it kind of frame rates dipped. I'll take that over some of the catastrophic launches games have had in the past. But I think they just cap it at 60, so there's no huge advantages in PvP, which I do appreciate. The little things like that about timing and iframes are so important in Elden Ring that if you had this big broad, some people getting 200 and some odd hertz, it wouldn't play as fair.
They got to come up a little. They got to go to 120. Give me 120 at least, because anything under 100,
it'd be nice.
I'll tell you, like that was one of the only things that turned me off about the game.
I remember that too. I remember thinking like this is not
no
right.
ultra wide. But you know what? Yeah, it's. I get the complaints about that because some people are bitching about performance and why is it locked to 60, whatever. But I just didn't get the whole like it's too difficult, so I'm going to shit on it thing.
Did they do that so it's fair that when you play with console people, everyone's on the same?
It could be, or just the way the game was designed in the engine.
It's actually there's no crossplay. You're stuck in whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You play it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well then there's no excuse.
I guess they just want to keep it even on
kind of do
PC.
This sometimes, like it's just, but they get away with it because usually the games are so good and so bad. Like From games are so good that nobody's really you're not gonna not play it because of that. But sure, we'd all. I'd love to see it. If there's Krell says there's a PC mod to unlock it, but it might fuck the game up. It could be just like the way the game works. It was all designed around that for some reason. Maybe it's connected to speed in the engine or something we don't know.
Right.
It may not be performance.
But there is some, like you said, there's something about the Japanese games, like all the Konami games, like have the Spartan menu and few options.
Yeah,
like
they don't really do
does.
great PC ports usually. I mean, Capcom's been doing okay though, decent. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like
the
Elden Ring menu though reminds me of like how Capcom handles menus too.
I'm just saying, if I do Elden Ring again, I want the like ultra wide mod. I want to unlock frames. Like I want this to. I just want that. Like for me, but it's not going to take away from the game being a 10 out of 10 to somebody. I don't think just because it's at 60. Like at least it's not 30. Okay, like Starfield.
Yeah,
there
100%.
You can technically play it if you get flawless ultra wide, right?
Yeah, I think so. But you have an ultra wide, and then running that would be insane. Like, don't you have a massive 42-inch monitor or something? You're part of that crew.
I've got the 49
Samsung?
with the G9.
Yeah, I mean that's
Samsung one.
Yeah, so I imagine
You ever
Elden Ring on
played
that.
Flight Simulator with that?
I have. I'm kind of pumped for the new one.
Yeah.
I'm going to dust my HOTAS off, be a nerd
Nice.
for.
Yeah. I actually, not to derail this, but I played Flight Simulator over the weekend on my Xbox. Forget it. There's no way. It's too bad. It's not good. Like the loads are even on the PC, it takes forever to load. Mm-hmm. Does it take a while for you to load shit on the PC? I mean, once you're in,
I've got a 3080, so nothing crazy, but it
I do too.
Definitely pushes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually in VR, the 3080 is okay. Have you tried it in VR? You should.
I have. I had an old Rift that I got out just for that reason.
Yeah.
But now my youngest has the Quest 3, and I'm kind of excited to maybe hook that up to it and see how it looks.
Nice. Yeah. So, all right. So, is there anything else about the Elden Ring DLC you want to
talk about the bosses? Tell me what you think of the boss design. Do you think some of them are clunky, like the big hippo, or do you think
hippo?
What is do you want to talk about your favorite boss, or is there any guy that's fresh general, whatever you guys were talking about last night? Is there anything like the boss design or what's standing out to you, like with the bosses themselves? Because there's a lot of bosses. Like they went crazy. It seems like there's a couple that are required, but there's so many optional ones, right?
There's a ton. I was actually really impressed that they didn't. One of the criticisms of the base game is how much they reused enemies. There's like whole copy and paste portions where they just whatever, throw this asset in there and we'll have another one. So I was kind of worried that we were going to get the same mobs, the same bosses or mini bosses. And it's actually the opposite. It was actually refreshing and kind of fun if I stumbled across something from the base game, like a new version of it or, and upgrade it. It's got a different, like you've got the ulcerated tree spirits. This is going to sound like nothing to you, but and in the base game, they're all over the place. They're a pain in the ass. So usually I wouldn't be excited to see one, but one popped up in here, but it was poison afflicted. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. I dig it. It's got a new, something new to worry about with it. But everything else, it's brand new mobs right out of the gate. They hit you with one that I think 90% of people have probably killed you, and it's just in the open world.
Really? Right in the beginning?
I think they do it on purpose.
It's like, fuck you.
Right at the beginning.
Like the horse.
As soon as you start wandering around.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, spoiler alert, there might be something that in plain sight that you don't see, like perched on something, and it's going to jump down and just wreck you.
Not the Hawkman.
Yeah.
So I kind of dug that because obviously you had something similar in the base game with the tree sentinel that's walking back and forth. And that became like the most common thing you hear people talk about. You got to watch, don't fight him, go around him. Or people would try for hours and hours and then say, fuck this.
That sounds like how I was playing the game.
Yeah. A lot of people did. Like, the first guy, I can't beat him. When really you can just walk around. But I like what they did here, where immediately you're hit with this one enemy who doesn't fight quite like anybody that you've fought so far. It's like relentless. And I must have panic rolled like 20 times in a row until I'm out of stamina and he kills me. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to have to be a little smarter. He's hitting like an absolute truck, even though my character is like new game plus 1 or 2. And I think that's what turned people off immediately is they had these souped up characters they were bringing into the DLC. And there's a scaling there to take that into account. If you have a character that's gone through a new game plus and then it goes up for each level that you've done it, it raises the life, how much HP all the enemies have. So you're bringing in this over level character, but now you just raised
the whole world.
How hard? Yeah, the whole world, which I think is awesome. So nobody can come in here like ready to shred everything. Like you're humbled immediately.
That would be boring. Awesome. It wouldn't be what I feel like people.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to go in there and just like
one shot something and be like, wow, if you want to do that, go back to the old area and just go back and kill like low level. Exactly. I don't know. So that's weird.
So, Holmes, are you playing with a mouse and keyboard or controller?
I don't think I've ever attempted to play this game with mouse and keyboard.
Okay, I thought so because I had the same experience when we covered it.
I always do.
It's clearly a controller game.
Yeah.
So when I first bought it, it was just because of the hype when it first released. I got it on PC and I returned it. I was like, there's no ultra wide support. Yep. And I think I had a 1070 Ti at the time and it ran like shit. And I was like, okay, returned. Yep. And then like a little bit later, I started seeing some of the boss fights, on pop up, and I was like, this looks awesome. I'm going to get it on PS5 because it's supposed to be better there. So I ended up playing, however many playthroughs on PS5 before I came back to PC because of the co-op mod, which is something people should keep in mind. If this still really feels like something you don't think you can do, or it's too punishing of a game for what you normally do, you can totally do the co-op mod, which removes you from the normal online environment. You won't be able to use your character there. But that way you can have someone with you the entire way. And it's cool. A little bit more training wheels if if you feel you need them. But it's fun too.
Yeah.
Because before you could only pull them into like a little instance thing, right? And then they're gone.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. There has to be an objective. It has to be a boss that's upcoming that you haven't beat.
Because I did that a bunch of times with the things on the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the second game, like Elden Ring 2, have like co-op from the beginning without a mod, though, because I might be more pulled into that instead of just wanting to watch.
More of an MMO kind of feel.
No, but just to be able to co-op with somebody, I think is a total, like it's, for me, I would like that. Because then you could have two different builds that have like synergy together, I don't know. That's fun.
There was a comment made by Miyazaki or somebody there from FromSoft that they said they had no intention of shutting down the co-op mod, and they actually really liked what the community was doing there.
Really?
So I do kind of wonder. I have a weird respect and admiration for the way the multiplayer works there. I like it because it is restricted. But I could see, whether it's Elden Ring or not, whether it's a future title that they have that's dedicated to that full multiplayer experience, I do hope they run with that because it's fun. But good luck following the story that way. Because those little moments where you need quiet to really soak things in,
and the person's
gone.
like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
So Nexus
Right.
Nexus Mods has the seamless co-op. I take it that's the
I'm
one
glad they
you're
didn't
talking
shut
about.
it
That's the one,
down.
yeah. Very popular.
Yeah, I mean, because if this was a Nintendo game, they'd be like, "This is bad. Get rid of it. No mod. Shut it down." So I mean, at least they're letting people do it.
Yeah, and I haven't done the ultra wide on there because I assume it's going to flag the anti cheat. I don't think any of the mods can be done and then play online. I think it'll catch that immediately. So, unfortunately.
Well, good. I mean, it's great that you think the DLC is just as good as the base game. That's high praise from you, someone who has 1,000 hours. So if you're listening out there and you've never played Elden Ring, it's not too late. Come on down to our Discord. I'm sure there's a lot of dudes in there now in our channel wanting to talk about this game or willing to help you at this point, including Homeless, because it's kind of been a hit in our community now, thanks to you as well, being, so open to helping people and talking about it. So coming down to Discord, talk to Homeless, talk about Elden Ring. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
right?
we've got a couple guys in there that are huge, huge Souls and FromSoft fans. So
Yep.
Definitely, if you've got questions or even want somebody to help, don't listen to the haters about summoning. It's a lot of fun to pull people in and try to run something together. And other people might be like myself, where I've got different characters at different levels. Because if you summon me in and I've got a level 200 character and you're at 40, it's gonna water down your 40s, experience. Yeah, they try to nerf that. Like, you come in and your health bar goes down, but I'm still going to be overpowered from what your character is. So it's more fun. But
when you come, so if you join a level 40, you're 200. Does the boss become way harder for the 40?
Yes,
because you're there. Okay.
Yeah, once you summon, it does raise the HP and everything.
Like in Diablo, I was helping people, and or like in WoW, like I can relate. It's kind of like, some people just don't care and they want to get the boss down. They're frustrated. Like, I get that too. Like, because people used to ask me, can you just help me move to the next veteran level in Diablo? And I was like, yeah, I'll just bring in my level 100 and just kill it for you. But like, so yeah, there's no shame in it, and use your summons, do whatever you want to do. Like, they designed, I think, Elden Ring to be the more casual Souls-like experience, but it can still be difficult for veteran Souls players who want that challenge too. And apparently too hard for some people, but doesn't seem to be the case for our community.
And what are you drinking, Homeless?
Well, for the occasion, I almost ordered some True Lemon,
wow.
but I forgot. So about the closest thing I could find today was some tea, and I've got some Just Iced Tea Peach Oolong Tea, and I'm double fisting with a Brewdog non-alcoholic Hazy AF New England style IPA. So I got
you've got the AF nod. You gotta drink. Both of us would probably drink. Have you tried the AF one, John? New England AF?
No, I don't know about that.
We posted it in Discord, right? I think I saw that or something. No, it was another AF. AF is all over now.
You missed the trademark, man.
Yeah, you should have, because John has a spice AF. If you don't know about it,
coarse AF and garlic AF.
That's right. There's a lot of AFs out there. All right, well let's.
So this the BrewDog's good because I'm on an NA kick, so I'm always looking for new shit.
It doesn't taste like beer. It tastes like, if you've ever had hop water, it tastes like hop water.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually earlier had one of those Sierra Nevada like hop water things. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
I like Partake. That's my favorite one because it's like 10 calories or 0 calories.
Yeah.
Does it taste like beer? I haven't had it.
I mean, listen, I love beer and no, it sucks.
Okay.
but
how can
it
that be
gets
good
you
with only 10 calories? Because
it gets
beer
you in the
is very
ballpark.
caloric, right?
Well,
beer is like drinking bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one at Whole Foods that is 0 calories and 0 carbs. It's called Hoplark.
What the hell is it? Like what's
It's
what
basically
poison is in
it's basically tea. It's like just
okay.
But the Hoplark Citra, which I bought at Whole Foods, again, it's 0. It's like what? Like how is this possible?
Tea, I guess black tea is close to that, but and even coffee.
One of my favorite drinks. It's not marketed as a NA beer, but it tastes more like beer than this does. Is hop tea, and it's the same kind
I never
of thing.
bought that. I see that. It's good.
It's great. Yeah, I think I actually linked it and threw a picture up in the Discord a while back.
I believe
those are really good.
I believe that the drink I just talked about, it's made by the same people. Hoplark, the one I got at Whole Foods is made by the people that make hop tea.
Oh yeah, that's one. Yeah, okay, I have had that.
Yeah,
it was good.
It's
I'd
the
be
same.
Curious about that. I don't know. I'd probably go
there's two of the Hoplark ones.
I drink so much water. I'm just like,
get the Citra one. That one's better than.
But I'm not really into beer. All right. Well, let's move on to some news. I don't really know. There's not much like out there really going on. There's some I feel like there's some Sony news, John, that you're going to jump in and go, Sony's dead. But,
Sony is dead.
Oh my God.
It's just face facts.
Sony shuts down rewards program and the users are displeased.
Of course they did.
Okay. Because they're gone.
Because these guys, they're like, listen, we need to find some change like in the seat cushions. What do we got to do here?
People are saying, what do they have coming out? It's not looking good. Things aren't good.
No.
PlayStation may have one more generation of physical media support. Nintendo maybe has 2, an analyst says. So there were some rumors today, or at least people were thinking that in our Discord, that the next Nintendo Switch could possibly have an all digital version. We kind of got into it. Of course, Kevin, the Game Store guy, said it would be dumb. It's stupid. They'd never do it. I feel like at this point, do you think Nintendo might make more money with a digital one? Because how many people are buying let's say the average copy of a Switch game is probably sold 2 or 3 times. Nintendo is not getting any of that in the used sales. They might be actually where they've turned over now, or they might be making more just digital.
Yes. And it's funny you said this because I was thinking about this over the weekend when I was on my Switch, because on the Switch, you can buy I don't remember the deal, but they have some game subscription kind of thing where you spend $100 and you get 3 games, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers. Don't quote me, but it's a deal. You're saving $20 off a game. And I was thinking they're pushing this so hard because they don't want you to buy physical, because then you're going to, now there's the used market they're competing with, the GameStop or eBay or whatever. Yeah. Right. So they don't want to compete with Kevin.
They used to always be about the physical media and making money off the carts, but now with where they're at with how digital is and how accepted it is, that they'd probably make more money that way. So yeah, they're thinking that even PlayStation might let go of it after a generation or 2, and that really might put game stores under. But we kind of knew that was going to happen eventually, right? We don't have Blockbuster Videos, we don't have CD stores, we don't have any of this.
Yeah, and by the way, what I'm referring to is called game vouchers. They have a game voucher. You spend, it's $100 for 2 games.
That's weird that they're pushing that. Yeah, they want you to buy there.
Right, and the thing is, some of the games are $70 now, like Tears of the Kingdom.
Right. And they control it too. So they can say with Switch 2, hey, your library doesn't carry over anymore because it's this digital thing we control. But they can do that, I guess, with the carts anyway. They lock you out with physical media. Rumor Sony may be working on native PS3 backward compatibility for the PS5. It might also play. Would be weird. I feel like maybe not true. But the consoles to me are still in a very weird place.
Yeah.
With the next ones.
Yeah, Sony hasn't done a very good job with backwards compatibility at all. They really have
that really weird architecture for PS3. Apparently, that's hard to stick in other devices.
Yeah,
I saw something over the weekend, actually. Like, the PS3 was great because you could play the PS2 and PS1 games in it, like, natively. Remember that?
Yeah, the first gen was.
Yeah,
I the original ones.
Yeah, I still have that PS3 in this house, and I was thinking about pulling it out because of that. And I didn't actually forgot or didn't realize, like, I guess if you have 4 USB ports in the front, that is the one that's backwards compatible, and then the one that has, like, 2 is not. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for those, like a GameStop used or in Kevin's store.
PS3 was a blur to me because that's when I was 360 times. But I did love my PS1 and 2, and I feel like 3 was
PS3
like
was a big part of this podcast, though, when it came out.
Sure.
But we didn't get it on launch, though, because we were really more Xbox at the time. And I remember in Connecticut stopping at a Best Buy like months or maybe a year after the PS3 came out and just got it on a whim. I actually loved the PS3. That whole era of the 360 and PS3 was pretty good.
Yeah, I think they were more competitive at the time.
It was exciting.
I don't know where they're going. I mean, what's going to happen next? I mean, are you looking for at like the PS5 Pro or the next gen consoles? I know you have kids, so it's different, and you have to have like something for everybody, and there's new stuff. Did you just want to own everything, or where are you at with like? Are you going to buy a Switch 2 if it's great, or?
Is that John or me?
No, that's you. I think I know what John's going to buy everything.
It's tempting. I know you and I went back and forth about the merits of this, but I just got a big projector in my basement.
Right.
One of the ultra short throws, and console looks pretty damn good on there because it's like 4K 60 is kind of what that's made for.
Right.
So having a PS5 Pro instead of the PS5, if there's enough performance bumps there that all the games run at 4K 60 or close to it.
Yeah.
That might be enough to get me to throw some money there. But honestly, I'm waiting for something to come along that's more that PC bridge.
It's called
for me to throw down there.
It's not. He's talking about like he wants a powerful PC console. Someone's got to come along and do that kit. And I don't know if it's going to be Xbox with their handheld and their mobile chip. So
I guess, I mean, to me, the Series X is the closest to PC in a console.
Yeah, I love my Steam library there too. That is kind of getting to be a big thing for me.
Well, I agree, because that's the problem with the Steam Deck for me is that like there'll be games on Game Pass and I'll just buy it on Steam because I don't want to deal with it. You know,
right? Yeah, I
which
think
is
a lot
stupid.
Of people
honestly,
are wanting the Steam library. That's the big question for the Microsoft handheld. Like I said, for me, is if it does have Steam on it, then it becomes an attractive Game Pass device because some people don't want to tinker and put Game Pass on the Steam Deck. So I think that's the big question. So speaking of Xbox studio boss, we quote deserve a pretty positive grade for the Xbox Game Showcase. So Matt Booty patted himself on the butt, saying that, hey,
I don't disagree. You know, I saw a lot of people saying it was the best one they've ever done, and I know you were kind of a little lukewarm, but I felt
lukewarm.
it.
I was lukewarm for me personally. I wasn't lukewarm overall. I said from the beginning, which some people apparently miss, that I think for Xbox Game Pass people and Xbox people that they had a big win. I said for me, there's nothing like moving me personally.
I mean, in the last couple of weeks with the Xbox event and the last Nintendo Direct, I thought that those were both great events considering we're at the end of each console's life.
They turned it around a little bit. People stopped talking about the layoffs.
And Sony got jack shit. What the fuck do they have? Nothing. What's coming out? What am I looking forward to?
Oh, boy.
Why do I have this fucking device?
Well, you could say, why do you have an Xbox?
I still think Phantom Zero Blade looks cool.
What? Wait, what? Phantom Zero Blade?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the only thing that I'm still looking at Sony and interested in what's coming out. But it could be absolute shit, and then I'll just stop paying attention.
How about Stellar Blade, which, by the way, has sold 1 million copies? Did you play that?
I played the demo, and I didn't finish it, which is kind of my thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
It looked good.
I liked it.
I mean, it'll come to PC, but I don't think it's going to be a game for me because I said leaning more toward Souls-like, right?
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about this. So tomorrow is the next season of Call of Duty, and they announced and showed something today called Bit Party, which is batshit fucking crazy. Have you guys seen this?
Mm-mm.
No.
You haven't seen this? You need to look at it right now. Just Google Call of Duty Bit Party and look at what they're doing.
They're doing like a 24-bit pixel mode, a retro map and Bit Party mode. Give it up, Call of Duty. But you're not Fortnite.
Yeah, so it's remember that Battlefield game?
Yeah, 8-bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought it and then never played it.
Me too. You know what? I bought it too because there's all that hype, and I'm like, I don't really like this, and I just stopped. Like that was it. Like I couldn't get into it. But this is like the normal characters. Like the bodies are all normal, but their heads are like voxel, and it looks completely like insane. And the way it works is that as you kill people, your head gets larger and larger. So when you pick up
so you
tags
become
and
a bigger target. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a okay.
But while your head is big, you're also getting more points and all that. So longer you can survive. This is what they're doing in
military shooters. There's no serious military shooters left.
Now this is just some for fun playlist. Do you think Phil is responsible for this?
Oh, John, you're making fun of other shooters saying they look cute and stupid. Call of Duty's dude bro. I mean, this is just as cheesy. You got Nicki Minaj,
totally
you got Snoop Dogg.
bro.
It's not. It's become a spectacle of shit. No,
you're right, but I still feel that the shooting and everything is way more better than it's
way more better. Way more better, guys.
Way more better.
It's way more better. This is funny. O'Malley sent us this. Our estimate suggests under 3,000 people have paid $49.99 to play Assassin's Creed Mirage on iPhone since it launched in June. Those other console ports have bombed too. So nobody got the Resident Evil games, which I loved.
What?
I know you did too, Homeless.
3,000?
Nobody's doing this. So the whole it's on your iPhone. Go play Assassin's Creed there and you can grab a controller. It doesn't look like anybody's doing this. Nobody wants to pay.
I heard it ran really well too.
That was part of the big Apple thing, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It was current iOS exclusivity. That was a big push. Look, we may get there. But I don't think it's the price. People expect things to be cheaper on the phone still. And I don't think they're going to shell out $50-$60 for these things there. They want that.
Yeah, I could see like the iPad crowd wanting that with the controller.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an iPad
maybe if that's all they
have.
have.
I'm not going to do it. Yeah. I feel like gaming is so mainstream. Somebody's got a console or a PC somewhere that they're just not going to do it. GTA 6. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do those show up on the Apple Arcade? Is that something that you could check out and stream on the?
Not those big games.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that would be worth subbing for though. That's interesting though. If they actually start adding, I'll tell you, one of my favorite games from a couple of years ago was on Apple Arcade, Japanese Rural Life Adventure. If you like Animal Crossing, that is worth doing an Apple Arcade trial for. And even just grab a tablet and get your phone, or grab your phone, or John, you played on your Apple TV.
Yeah, that game's great on Apple TV.
They just did another update for it. I kind of want to go back. But so Apple Arcade has some cool things, like that Fantasia game that was from the creator of Final Fantasy or whatever is now coming to other places. It lost its Apple Arcade exclusivity. So they were pumping big money into that. So if they could actually start adding, that's a good point, some big games there, that could be where they go. The Game Pass for iPhone.
Yeah, I'm on the Apple App Store and it says that Assassin's Creed Mirage is free.
In Apple Arcade?
No, in the App Store, but it says there's in-app purchases, and one of them is $50.
Well, they must let you install it and run around. That's a little stupid. One of the purchases. Wait a minute. That's stupid.
It's not. So here's the in-app purchases: Assassin's Creed Mirage, $50; Deluxe Pack, $10; Lightning Weapons Pack, $5; Fire Demon Pack, $15; Map Pack, $5; Jin Pack, $10; Master Assassin Pack, $10; Guardian Pack, $10. If you bought every single fucking one of those, it's like $100.
No, I can't do it. I'm never going to spend that much on a phone thing.
So basically, they're saying it's free because you get a launcher or a menu, and then you have to spend money. Is that what it is?
I hate that. It's probably what it is. It's probably the Ubisoft launcher or whatever.
That's absolutely fucking dumb.
Yeah. So I like this story, John. Let's talk about this and then we'll get out of here unless you guys have other stuff. But GTA 6 release date has made Xbox, quote, very jumpy.
Okay.
Microsoft
the reason I put this
confirms.
news story in there is because of that headline.
The looming, well, that's what they got.
It's
Gaming
making
Bible.
them
Please
jumpy.
never put a fucking article from Gaming Bible in here again, John. The looming GTA 6 release date has made Xbox heads quite nervous. I like that. Quite. Are they British? Well, I mean, yeah, it's making them nervous because if the only next gen console you can play GTA 6 on is PlayStation,
right?
Well, that's kind of rough, Microsoft. But where's their? What are they basing this on? That they're so jumpy? Is it because of what Booty said? I think many across the industry are, of course, going to plan around GTA 6, and we're all looking forward to that game, which should be amazing, Booty replied. Do you expect a shadow drop Xbox Pro?
Well, I think that next Christmas is when this shit's going to happen. So this Christmas, we're getting the PlayStation Pro, 5 Pro, right? Which
Xbox
I guess
waits and comes out with a little more powerful version. The most
well, they
powerful
should
place
because
to play.
what's coming out? Because Grand Theft Auto is coming out in 2026, right? So Sony's basically a year ahead of the release with the PlayStation Pro.
And we've got
So
some big titles coming that people want a powerful system for, not just GTA, but Monster Hunter Wilds, Doom the Dark Ages, right? Fable. Like these games are going to push your machines. So if Xbox waits and then they have the more powerful one, that could actually be an advantage. So
yeah, I think so too.
It could even be really pricey. They could be like, they should just come out and be like, look, it's $8.99. It's the PC for the living room, and hey, maybe you can launch Steam.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I was saying before that Microsoft's they're gonna give homeless what he's looking for. That's what I'm hoping for.
I hope people get what they're looking for. It'd be tempting.
And they should have tiers like that. You know, like this is like equivalent to a 40 series or 30 series graphic card.
says GTA is 2025, John.
No. Is it though? I thought it got pushed back.
Everything gets pushed back.
It very well might. I don't believe anything anymore. So
okay, it's okay. So just quick Google. It's fall of 2025.
Okay.
Which is when Microsoft would be replaced. Oh, no,
says there's no pro Xbox console rumored. Supposedly Xbox could jump in the next gen in 2026. And GTA will release before it.
It's 2020. I'm seeing multiple things that say 2026 still. So
it's supposed to be fall 2025. So we don't have the exact date yet, right?
No, we don't. On PC Games and the website, they're saying it's likely the 2026. And this is an article from 5 days ago.
Well, I mean, saying fall could very easily get pushed into, but who knows? They have to be around for Christmas, right?
Point is, Microsoft's in a better position to adapt to this game's release.
Not if they don't get it out in time. People want to.
If PlayStation sells well, it's gonna be too late.
Yeah.
Okay, if GTA 6 comes out,
and they have to announce it so people know it's coming, so they wait.
But Microsoft's going to know exactly how to tailor the system and market it directly to.
It takes time to get the chips and get it all set up, and
Yeah, they're doing it right now. Phil's on it. He's probably in Taiwan as we speak.
All right, Phil. All right, well, Phil's in Taiwan.
He's in the mines.
We're going to.
He's in Jensen's kitchen right now. For God's sakes,
he's in the oven. Yeah, he's pulling out graphics cards. The next Xbox has a 4090 in it or a 50 series. That'd be funny. It's only $3,000. All right, well. We had fun. I think we had a good show. We had a great Elden review. Thank you so much for saving our ass with that, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to become an Elden Lord in a couple of weeks. So we appreciate you being here and doing the game justice, because huge game, huge topic, Homeless.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
if you
thanks a lot.
Catch up with him. He's in our Discord. He's a regular. He's a BDE. He shares photos of bread. He's got photos of guitars. He's always into something fun, along with the rest of our fun community. So come on down to videogameoutsiders.com. Meet Homeless and the rest of the crew. Remember, Crafty is giving away 3 copies of Inside in our Discord. Check out their happy hour podcast on our Video Game Outsiders app, completely free. There's also bonus shows during the week that John and I do. If you want to support us for $1.99, you get those bonus shows and 20 years almost of this whole show. We're up to almost, when we hit 1,000 episodes, that'll be crazy, but we're hitting 20 years next summer as well. So you can get the whole back catalog and the weekly shows. Head to videogameoutsiders.com. And I think that's it.
That's right. All right, guys, thanks for listening, subbing, all that shit. Go to twitch.tv/John and Michelle and subscribe with Amazon Prime for completely free.
Yeah, they've got Prime Day coming up. There's like 10 free PC games you can claim right now. So do that and sub it, twitch.tv/John and Michelle.
All right, guys, we'll see you very soon. Video Game Outsiders out.
When the city's got you down, come to my arms, come to my arms. I will take you away to another place. I will okay to give me your face.